What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash, coming back to Funeral Takes. Well, it's that time, you guys. It's movie review time, and this is for Antlers, directed by Scott Cooper. Now, first, before I jump into it, let's just say that I will make this non-spoiler. I always like to note if I really like something so much, I feel it's a disservice to you all to tell you all the goodies of the film. This is one of those ones I truly would love for you guys to watch, and then eventually work your way back to this video and comment. I cannot say enough of how much I truly enjoyed this film. So just kind of putting that out there. And second, like, you know what? Let me just say that, like, Wendigos finally get to shine. So, with that said, let's just go ahead and really jump into this. Overall, I love the casting we have, and it's of course Kerry Russell. We have Jesse Plemons. We have Graham Greene. We have a young man played by Jeremy T. Thomas, who is Lucas in the film. Scott Hayes, who plays Frank Weaver. Just to name a few. I will say this just to start off. This, of course, is based off a short story titled "The Quiet Boy" by Nick Tosca. Hope I'm saying the last name correctly. My apologies. Now, of course, the differences between the story and the film, and the end overall result, I think was excellent. Just to kind of set the tone. Being also that an involvement with Guillermo del Toro being attached to it provides like a great introduction to his favorite topics, honestly, dealing with fairy tales, monsters, and children. So you can't go wrong with that. Because initially when I saw it, I wasn't sure if he was actually the director, but of course, when it said Scott Cooper and he's attached, and other producing aspects, and then definitely the overall, look and whichever captures, it was just done effortlessly to me, honestly. So with that said, this story, just knowing it comes from a short story and how they can always build on that to make it even much a larger story to be told. I just love when they're able to do that because I like to do a lot of short, short horror shorts a lot. And when I watch them, I get really engulfed in them that you wish they were more feature length films. So this is, a treat in itself. Now, with this said, I like how we do get introduced to Kerry Russell. Now, let's just say that when you see the trailer, you're kind of getting more of an emphasis on young boy Lucas and what he's dealing with. You don't really see truly what she is. You're thinking just because she's the teacher and she knows something's going on with Lucas, and trying to figure out what's going on, what of course could be, little issues or something happening within the home. Now, with her aspect into this, besides being a teacher, she is dealing with some issues within her life where she actually comes back to a small town in Oregon. And what that says, I like the way they decided in regards to this, to deal with a little bit of backstory and with her, being that definitely has some issues within the family. And let's just say that they showcase a little bit of it. They don't go into too much, detail, but you get a little bit of understanding of what she did with in regards to feeling certain traumas, and in doing certain things that she would do to kind of probably hide them, being, say, for instance, drinking, things of that nature. When they show some of the flashbacks as a teen, she was, and then showing her, in the midst of certain, moments that are more present day, where you see a little bit of visuals, definitely feeds into that. I was really surprised when they added that little layer on to within the story, so we get a little bit of understanding with her on top of whatever Lucas is dealing with. Now, the way they open the film up, you see the scene of Lucas's father, his youngest brother, Aiden, is in the car waiting, and he's, of course, in the mine trying to clean up some stuff with a colleague, and they hear something, and let's just say that, is something dark and sinister, and it sets up the tone of what happens. And a couple of weeks later is kind of what you see, where you start to now see Lucas having to deal with, how to, engage by, making sure things just kind of look like everything's still normal, going to school, but you can tell by his overall behavior and the way he carries himself in the instance of what's going on that people are not aware of. Now, granted, his teacher, played by Carrie, name is, I want to say, excuse me, I almost forgot her name, and then with Julia, she definitely picks up on it, especially when he tells a story. If you all saw the trailer, he talks about, the family being like, Big Bear and Little Bear, Baby Bear. Definitely lets her know that kind of sets up a red flag at the beginning, and then the kind of certain things start to happen throughout the film. Now, I will say, in regards to that, with this whole thing, I want to say the way they approach this particular horror, they wanted to focus on the storytelling, the build up on this. I can clearly tell from the way it is, because this is about almost 2 hours the way it was done. You said you get more of the build up on that as opposed to, as they like to always say, more jump scares. And that was fine with me. And I have many films that I watch where I don't really pay too much mind to all that. Now, I will say also in regards to the subject matter being in regards to myths, legends, and storytelling, probably how it affects the culture and the girls within with the entity as well. And I like how Graham Greene, who plays Warren in the film, kind of goes into a discussion when he it actually is introduced some information from Julia and her brother Paul, played by Jesse Plemons. And then it's like, him being, I want to say the sheriff in the town, whatever, and all, he's not interested in hearing anything about myths, things of that nature and all, because he says there's a logical explanation. It's probably some bear or some cougar or something, whatever, out there in the forest. And it's just like, no, you need to possibly consider it. I know it's kind of, steering, but it is what it is. Now, with that said, when you do see within the film instances when we get flashbacks, of course, with Lucas dealing with his father, and what ends up happening, definitely don't give that away because you see that in the trailer. Definitely his father's going through some changes and transformation. And transformation is, I will say, when you finally do see certain things happening to his father and definitely things that are happening to his brother, there's one scene where, Julia does reach out to the principal and she decides, I'll eventually, go see and pay a visit. And let's just say that that's the catalyst that brings forth the ultimate transformation. And I said, the one thing you're not missing out on this, you get the carnage. You get, some not full graphic scene where you get to see it fully actually happen, but at least you get to see some of the things that, that transpires in regards to some bodies that, show up in the woods, whatever they come across, and explaining to what could have possibly done this and things of that nature. Also, in regards to the overall creature, I noticed at times within the film, a lot of scenes could be rather dark at times, so it was kind of hard with the way the lighting was done. I mean, it is what it is with that, and that's fine. But I will say, at times it's like if we're in a theater, so it's like you're trying to kind of grasp whatever and kind of give you an illusion. But eventually, you do get to see overall the creature. Needless to say, I'll say that much. But at times it was just like it would allude to, or you hear the sounds, whichever. And I will say that was really really good because it definitely added to a little bit of the tension and a little bit of fear and all that of what's getting ready to happen next, when he this whatever person comes into contact with this Wendigo. Also, besides just understanding what's going on with Lucas, let me just give shout out to the young man who plays Lucas, Jeremy T. Thomas. He did an amazing job playing this. I want to say my overall feelings with that was just seeing as a young actor, his range was just amazing. You would think grappling with this type of trauma and dealing with this and to try to keep things, afloat, whatever, and all that, all while you're young and you should just be actually being a kid, not having to deal with, grown up issues, whatever, and trying to deal with your father, deal with your younger brother, locked up in a home, and him, of course, the father trying his best to protect both his sons and all that, knowing that he's changing, daddy's sick, whatever, but daddy's getting worse. And then eventually to the point where, daddy's not all there and it's something else that is basically taken over. And it was just literally astounding how good he was within this film. I mean, I was literally like, you dealing with some sort of situation with the best of your ability, and then, all the drama, stress, all that, you feel like you're losing all innocence, whichever, and you having to this. And I like how, he was truly aware of what he needed to do because you do have a scene where you can tell Julia, is watching and she's trying to, engage him, and they end up having a little moment where they're eating ice cream in a little parlor or whatever and all that, and their conversation, she's trying to get a little bit more out of him, and he was like, when she starts to kind of get a little bit more information, he's like, I gotta go, and this time, please don't follow me. Like, he was truly aware of everything, because he's pretty much keeping this dark secret. So I really have to give kudos to the young man who played him because I think he did an amazing, amazing job. Same thing, like I said, with Kerry Russell. I've seen her in many things over the years, but the way she played this particular character and dealing with her range on trying to be, there for this young boy and also dealing with her own issues. There's a scene with her and her brother where he makes a statement to her and she's just like, I can't believe like you said this to me, you don't know what I, went through, whatever and all that, having, to um, deal with, her father and back and call both their fathers, excuse me, but him, not understanding her plight, whatever. Clearly something went down he might have not have been aware of for her to have been gone over 20 years and then finally come back, she missed her brother. And he's like, I dreamed the day that you come back. And it's like when he made a statement to her saying, you don't know what I went through, when you weren't there. Just let you know, definitely communication is key. Because granted, yes, she definitely went through some traumatic stuff, and it is definitely, uh, you definitely get to see a little bit of said, and just kind of understanding that you left. Don't know what happened once you left. Don't know what your brother is, and his way of dealing with it is a little bit different than she does. Granted, definitely he's a little bit more somber with his and all that, and kind of more reserved. Her, not to say she kind of lashes out, but certain instances where she could be doing something, case in point, she was, playing the piano for a minute, and then he comes up on her and it gives her a moment where she has a flashback. So it's just like, yes, definitely at times could be somewhat triggering. So I like that. Now I will say this, like I stated, overall, it's not going to be a lot of action within this film like that. You have your couple of moments in there that you do see some stuff, where you get introduced, with a creature, terrorizing a couple of people, specific individuals, whichever. And then you see scenes where I will say I love Carrie also because she goes toe to toe, and it was really good. And then also just noticing, like I said, at times a little darkness, whatever, but they always, like I said, give you the illusion so you get enough of an idea, but you definitely get a full out reveal of the actual creature within the film. And like I stated before, again, with that, just overall, like I said, the cinematography was good. I like the way they did it, where they definitely made it all about storytelling, understanding, and also understanding what to do with said creature or how to deal with it, so this won't continue, this particular cycle of what will happen, if, this thing is killed, what will happen of this evil entity, where does, it go. And I like how some of that is explained definitely through Graham Greene's character, Warren, within the actual film. So in the end, definitely enjoyed it. It was so, so, so good. Very good horror film for the year. Out of a 10, I would give it about an 8. So again, I can't say enough about it. I really, definitely made sure I just did not want to, spoil it for you guys. I really would love for you all to see this because I would really like to know what a lot of you guys feel about this actual film. So with that said, you guys, when you do get a chance, comment below. Let me know what you think. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next movie review. You guys take care.